Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, November 15th. Right now, what is wrong with the Jaguars offense? We're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a show on YouTube. Again, really appreciate y'all being here. You can also check out GenJag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear. Our Duval Skyline trucker is back, available for pre-order, very limited inventory. Check that out at GenJag.com/shop. Jumping into this Jaguars offense. Against the 49ers, there were a great many things wrong with the Jaguars offense. I think that was obvious. They looked confused and unprepared from the very beginning of that football game. I thought they started doing some decent things throughout the game, but then they would, shoot themselves in the foot with a fumble here, interception there, what have you. Not pretty for the Jaguars against the 49ers. But I think that game was a game that you want to learn from. You want to obviously try to remove the mistakes you made in that game. But it was a game where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I don't think it was really representative entirely of what the Jaguars have been throughout the year. But you have seen different issues pop up for the Jaguars offense throughout the 2023 season, no doubt about it. Where's the verticality in the offense? Everything seems horizontal. The Jags have the least amount of routes over 10 yards down the field in the NFL. Why is that? I think there are a couple reasons that there are not more vertical shots for the Jaguars, not more of a vertical passing game. One is that they don't trust the offensive line to hold up, and rightfully so. On dropbacks where Trevor Lawrence holds onto the ball more than 2.5 seconds, and shout out to Mina Kimes for finding this stat, he is the most pressured quarterback in the league. He has very little time to work through reads. So this is a guy that is starting to feel rushed. We've seen that. A guy that doesn't feel like he has time to sit back there in the pocket and go through his reads. And so you're wanting to get the ball out quickly, right? And that's also part of the design of Doug Peterson's offense, is getting the ball out quickly. Horizontal, quick game. That's partially by design. Doug Peterson's offense is just based on quick game, efficiency, all those types of things. Get your playmakers the ball. But even for Doug Peterson, even for a Doug Peterson coached offense, this offense does lack verticality. And again, I think you can point back to the offensive line, the shuffling on the offensive line. They've been trotting out different groups on the offensive line consistently throughout this season. That's been the one constant for the offensive line, is shuffling due to injury, performance, suspension, etc. But for all those reasons, the offensive line has struggled. They also don't exactly have a ball winner type at wide receiver, a guy you can just throw the football up to, mash the easy button with. Trust that if you just throw the football up in the air to this guy, he's going to come down with it. They don't really have that in Jacksonville, especially not without Zay Jones. Zay Jones is more of a separator than a real ball winner, but he's their only guy with, legitimate size, 6'2 plus, 200 plus pounds at receiver that they're at least willing to use right now. Jamal Agnew, we just found out, will be out this weekend. So maybe you see Elijah Cooks, probably more Tim Jones. But I digress. There's also the fact that they are not getting Calvin Ridley any designer looks. They're not making it easy for Calvin Ridley to get the football. They're not getting him in rhythm. Why? I'm really not sure. You could be doing a lot of different things, as Ben Solak pointed out this week on The Ringer, to be getting him the football in different ways, and they're just not doing it all that often. Not sure why. There's also the fact that the offensive line cannot consistently run block to save their lives. That's an issue too. I think the pass pro has been slightly below average for the offensive line. It hasn't been league worst, as some people have said, as like ESPN's data says they have the worst win rate on the offensive line in the NFL, something like that. For me, I don't really see it that way. I see them as below average in the pass pro department, no doubt about it. But their run blocking, I have seen them look abysmal. That's a major issue as well. Hard to get Travis Etienne going consistently when there's just no room to work. And Travis Etienne, he's not perfect in terms of vision. But I think more often than not, when you see these runs get blown up in the backfield at the line of scrimmage, there's just not very much room to work with. I think there's always also been a lack of creativity offensively. You've seen some things that aren't working. You're still continuously trying to do them. And when defenses that are talented and smart decide they're just going to play physical, sit on all your underneath routes, and dare you to beat them over the top, you've got to try. And it just doesn't seem like they're doing that. And that's a problem. But for me, the biggest issue that is causing this offense to sputter right now is a very simple one. It's called ball security. It's turnovers. They are giving the ball away. The Jacksonville Jaguars are at a higher clip than anyone right now. Trevor Lawrence's interceptions have been relatively quiet overall until lately. And again, I think this 49ers game was a little bit of a one-off. But the fumbles, my God, the fumbles. They have lost 11 fumbles in 9 games. 11 fumbles in 9 games. And they've turned the ball over 9 times in the last 3 contests. That is not sustainable. You're not going to win games in the NFL consistently if you're losing the turnover battle that badly. And there's a reason everybody brings up the turnover battle every single week. It's because if you win the turnover battle, you're probably going to win the game. The Steelers do not have a good offense. They do not have a functional offense right now. But they're not turning the football over. They're 6-3. It's as simple as that. But it is still all in front of you for the Jaguars, right? First in the AFC South, third in the AFC. 2 straight divisional matchups that could help you, gain some ground or put some ground in between you, some space in between you and the Houston Texans if you take care of business. Fumbling is a correctable issue. Throwing interceptions is a correctable issue for Trevor Lawrence. You're not magically going to have a great offensive line here. Now, could continuity help them? Could having the guys that they intended to be out there as their starting 5 this year help them? Maybe. Yeah, I think it could, and I think it probably will. But you're not going to get new players at this point. You're not going to get new receivers at this point. But you can hold on to the damn football. And that has to be one of the biggest teaching points, coaching points for the Jaguars for the remainder of the season. And it has been. I mean, this is a team that's number 1 rule is to take care of the football. Like, that is all over the building throughout this coaching staff. Take care of the football. And I think if you do take care of the football a little bit better, it is going to help you look like the team that you think you should be, the team that fans think they should be seeing. Will they get things going? Will they stop the turnovers or at least slow the turnovers? I mean, you can have a turnover or 2 a game and be okay. You cannot have 3 turnovers. You cannot have 4 turnovers and expect to win football games. Turnovers and fumbles especially tend to be pretty wonky stats to track. They can regress away from the mean towards the mean rapidly. They can be unpredictable. But for the Jags in recent weeks, they have been entirely predictable. Every time they step out on the field right now, it feels like they are going to turn the football over. Now, their next opponent, the Tennessee Titans, they have the least amount of takeaways in football. They have forced 7 turnovers this year, the Tennessee Titans have. Lowest number in the game right now. What happens when a movable object meets a stoppable force? We're going to find out this weekend in Jacksonville when the Jaguars take on the Titans. And remember, I'm not saying that fumbles are the only problem here. I'm saying that right now they are the biggest problem. And even when they fix the fumbles, or if they fix the fumbles, which will help them win football games, they still have other issues to deal with. Again, a below average offensive line in pass protection, an awful offensive line in the run blocking department, some real pass game conceptual schematic issues, personnel issues without Zay Jones. And Doug Peterson just mentioned right now they're in the fact-finding portion of that, but nothing is really beneficial when it comes to the Zay Jones situation, and he's still with the team and he's still day-to-day. We'll see how that plays out. I don't want to make a comment when I don't know what happened. But again, I think if you cut out some of these fumbles, some of these turnovers, unforced errors that are split-second decisions where you just have to play smarter football, you give yourself a chance. You give yourself a chance to look more like the team you expect to be. And I think if you do that, you're going to start winning football games. Because your defense, they're pretty damn good. You stop putting them in so many horrible situations, you're going to like the results. I really do think that. And let's not forget the Jaguars won 5 straight games prior to losing to the 49ers. I think that game was a bit of a one-off, but I think the biggest issue in that game, turnovers, was not a one-off. And are turnovers symptomatic of larger issues? I think to an extent. But I also think you can say, Trevor Lawrence, you can't throw that football that way. Trevor Lawrence, you've got to hold on to the football. You've got to sense pressure. Christian Kirk, when you're fighting for extra yards, hold on to the football. High and tight, 2 hands, whatever you have to do, hold on to the football, right? Bottom line. That's kind of the way it goes. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. I do think the Jaguars will be able to improve on this problem, but again, they're going to have to go out and do it. Nobody can do it for them. They know the issues. They've got to go get it done. Again, really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. Again, Duval Trucker Skyline hat available for pre-order right now. Limited inventory. genjag.com/shop. Y'all have a good one.